Hello, my name is Jen Hart. Be awesome. I'm fixing my lighting because this is atrocious. How are you this evening? Most of my vlogs, I can't guarantee, aren't going to be this magical, but we'll see. Hey, do I have to push the button? Okay. Oh. It's like the guy who did Infinity. This is what we're going to think. I don't know. That's why it's supposed to be like this. Hello. I'm going to see warmer, cooler, warmer. Does it matter? Do you even care? I don't know if you'll care. I should bring this thing down. Anyway, how are you? I hope you're doing well. If you're in the chat, say hi. I would love to say hello. Oh, yes. That'll help. Today I'm starting oh baby. I'm starting a 30-day. I have a kitty right behind me. A 30-day. Oh God. I should have done this out. Said. A 30-day challenge / I hate the word challenge because it makes it sound even worse than harder than it actually. It's not like 75 hard to take care of yourself or put yourself first, although it can feel that way when you're doing it. You're not used to doing that. All right, we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna see how that goes. If it doesn't go well. I'm so sorry I didn't do this beforehand. But today is all about me, number one, not having my brain work. Like, my brain has been really not doing well today. I've had my caffeine, I've had my supplements, I've done the things that I know to do, and my brain is still not cooperating fully. So if it's not cooperating fully, that doesn't mean that I can't do things. I just do things differently and accept the fact that they're not going to be perfect, which is incredibly challenging. And if you are like that, let me know. I'm sorry for the ums. Just trying to put this thing in. Okay, just, it doesn't even matter. I just need a little bit of light. A little bit of light goes a long way. Okay. It is what it is. Okay, so today's day one of my self-love, self-appreciation life challenge. The reason why I wanted to bring this to YouTube is that in 2013, this exact process that I'm refreshing for myself now because I need a little tune-up, as sometimes we always do. This process helped me stay alive. And that's not a joke. That's like legitimately helped me after I was going to therapy and doing things. This process helped me finally let go of all of these things that said I wasn't good enough and that that I was worthy of the attention that I never got. Now, I don't know your story. I don't know if you grew up in trauma. I don't know if you just have ADHD. I don't know you unless I know you, and I would like to get to know you. But I'd like to build a community where people feel safe and know that they can accomplish their goals no matter what their brain is saying to them. And I also want to help people who think that they can't get out of that mindset of like inner critic, like comparing yourself to other people or other brains or just in general. I hope for you to eliminate that so you can have a happier, healthier, more abundant, you have more money, more time, more freedom, more energy because you're not focused on anybody else but yourself. And I wanted to do this challenge visually. I usually do it on paper, but I wanted to offer up if anybody wanted to join me during these 30 days. And obviously, it doesn't have to be exactly right now. You can do it whenever you want. But it definitely is helpful. And I've gone through many clients with this process. I used to be in social work, and I used to be a job coach for people with individuals with mental health and developmental disabilities. And I always do this. It's almost always the first thing. Sorry. It's always almost the first thing that I talk to people about. It's usually where is your practice for focusing on what you need to do for you? And back when I was doing social work, a lot of it had to do with job development and or just getting their ducks in a row. Like, how would they get to a job? How will they get to um, take care of themselves physically? Like, what are they wearing? Are they able to communicate properly? That sort of thing. And then eventually I moved over to non agency work on my own. And I always take people through the process of reminding themselves to change their concept of mind, of themselves. And this is like very clinical ish, but really it's just the way when you think about things differently, when you think about yourself differently, your external world will change almost immediately. I believe there's a time buffer for good reason. Because can you imagine if every thought that you thought came to fruition, this world would be even more chaotic than it is. And because we're so, at least to people that I've worked with, and I myself have been this person, it used to be for personally so beat up myself so much that if anybody external said something about me, it would be nothing compared to what the brain that I have has said about me. So it was never uh, that was never a challenge per se. Like other people saying nasty things to me or about me was never like really the challenge. It's usually the internal dialogue because that's the one that runs the show. That's the one that creates the reality where maybe more people are saying nasty things or not, or whatever the scenario is. Like back when I wasn't mentally as sound as I am now, is like I would be distraught over one problem, or I would have a lot of rejection sensitivity, or I would feel like so lost in chaos because, having ADHD is not the funnest. It can be fun. My brain is like always going and I'm always interested in something. And those are the benefits. And I can problem solve like nobody's business because my brain goes every tangent and spider web known to man. But at the same time, it can be challenging when executive function is delayed or is not as smooth as I could be, or maybe I won't be able to, like forgetting a bill when I've already paid my bills. And I'm like, oh my God, that means I have to revamp the process, even though I can pay my bills. It's just more like I fell through the cracks. So then I have to figure out a way to set another alarm, change the post-it color, change the way my brain remembers. And if it's helpful for anybody in the upper ages of 40 plus, this is also good for anybody going through perimenopause or things like that, because your brain may forget things. You might have a heightened energy around upset, rejection, not taking care of yourself because you've taken care of others for so long and now you're like spent. I mean, this vlog, this series that I'm doing, you will join me, and if you get any benefit from it, I'm gratefully appreciative that you watch and join in if you feel called to. My whole focus for these 30 days, and hopefully you join, is that doing some practices in order to acknowledge the fact that I get to And it's the word get, it's not required. There's no requirements here. But in order to feel better and to have my life go smoother again, and my life is really great. Like I have a little beautiful boy that's leaving. Bye. Bye, handsome. Maybe he's annoyed. No, he's. Are you hungry or annoyed? Um, Sorry about the ums. It's just my brain has not come fully on, and I've had, like I said earlier, all the caffeine and all the things. And I was going to start tomorrow, but my old perfectionist self would be like, it has to be on a Monday, it has to have all these rules. And then it's another way of not accepting the moment of my imperfection about this. Like whether my brain is working or not, I still have to appreciate and love myself because that will outpicture something incredible in the next 30 days. And it's not doing to get, I'm just going to feel better. And there are going to be lots of results from that. And I'm sure if you did this for yourself, absolutely this would change your life. Bar none. This is the most effective thing, mind and also action, because I don't think the two are separate. Your mind and body are connected, as well as your spirit, if you believe in such things. Um, so when you do one activity, it will benefit the other. It's kind of like when you stop doing something bad for your body, or you start doing something good. Like if you fill your time with exercise, you're probably not doing other things that might be harmful, like drinking and driving. That's never been me, but there's no judgment on that. But I've worked with people who have been in those situations. And that's why they say in addiction circles is that you usually are replacing one addiction for another. And sometimes the addiction of thinking negatively or not even seeing yourself as valuable enough to put attention and appreciation on, once you start doing that, your ability to see the world differently and your ability to feel immensely better. When I did this in 2013, let me give you some background. Um, CPTSD, I got released from therapy because I was doing well. And then, because that was my only support system, I didn't have a lot of support, which is crazy because I had family and friends, but it wasn't like I was relying on them. I didn't know how back then, even though I do now. And it's still tricky. But back then, I didn't actually know how to reach out to people and like lean on them emotionally. So I went down a very quick spiral after my therapist and I were no longer working together. And I'm sure I could have went back, and although she was graduating because I was in a program where you pay a sliding scale and then they're teaching these therapists how to be therapists. Great when I went to my own counseling training, etc. But that's a baby. Hi, baby. Come on up. So back in 2013, I went down a very dark spiral very quickly. Within 3 months, and or 2 months, 2 months, and I literally came up with this out of a moment in time where I realized that I was loved by my nephew, who was one at the time. And I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to be anybody for him. He literally just lit up anytime I was around him. I didn't have to, unlike this cat who wants to be attended to. Although he loves me unconditionally too, I'm sure. What? Hold on 1 second, since this is alive. What do you want? Do you want me to bring you up? You want more? Come on. 1, 2, 3. Aw, that's my boy. You sit on the live stream? You want to sit on the live stream? That's Jakey Jake. Jakey Jake. So in 2013, I went through my, I would say, last big crisis. And it's partially because of this process that I've taught many people and went through. And it can change, it's evolved, it's not stagnant, but it is the process of learning how to appreciate oneself and the world around us, because we're connected. So part of the 30 days today, starting today, and imperfect as I am, I'm starting late at night. I mean, I've done it by a few things. I check in with myself regularly. Now, have I been remiss and lapsed about that? Absolutely. Have I written down the things that I want and desire? Sometimes I'm remiss and not doing that as well, because I'm not always present. And that's part of this process. You're being present with yourself to ask yourself the question, what do I need? What do I want? And how do I give myself these things? And some of this process, luckily my brain doesn't go this way, but I know a lot of my clients do, is that we first work on like an action that you would give to yourself 15 minutes minimum. And then you can do that up to 2 hours or an hour, depending on your life as current, is where you can fit and make the space for. Is that you're doing something for yourself every day, minimum, usually a movement activity, but it doesn't have to be. It could be meditation, it could be stretching, it could be reading. But as long as you're giving yourself something that is not for anybody else but you. And then throughout the day, asking yourself, what do you need? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you tired? Do you need to change something that's going on at the present moment? Do you need to call out? Do you need to change scenario? Like today, I was driving and I know my marker for when I'm not supposed to be driving or being out or whatever. Um, I need a rest and I need to be home, or I need to quickly do something, whether it's find food or take care of a little like to-do list item. Like, oh, today I had to get like nasal spray because it's allergy season, and I had to get like, the normal life things that can be put off so much when we don't focus on ourselves and what we need to give to ourselves. Now, this seems very basic for a lot of people. If this is not you, then this is not the video for you. This is for people, especially people with ADHD, who often forget about themselves and put themselves at the last of the bit. And part of it is also, too, how we talk to ourselves. I helped my RSD and other mental trappings by cognitive behavioral therapy, DBT skills, and hard pressed work of changing how I perceive myself and then circumstances. I'm grateful that when I grew up, I had a pretty much like silver lining thought process, but then it got skewed as I got older, and depending on different situations that made my brain go like worst case darkness, like the worst thing. And like nothing could be better. I mean, nothing could get like better at all. And that's not true. That's not an ultimate truth. Um, but sometimes, depending on your brain, it does take a lot more effort to change the neural pathways that create these synapses, that create this process that is challenging to get out of, which is like a lot of inner conflict, this inner negative voice. For a friend of mine, I call it her Auschwitz voice. It's like this negative piece of the brain that needs its voice heard. And it's so unconscious for most humans, especially the ones that I work with. It's like you don't really realize that's not your voice. It sounds like you sometimes, or it could have been a parent of yours, but it's this nagging voice that says that you're not enough, that you're not worthy, that you're not valuable, and all these things because you don't measure up to some random standard that somebody made 100 years ago or 50 years ago or yesterday. It's like every Instagram aesthetic, like perfect. We all like, oh my God, we dream about it, but it's never real. That's not real. And the very few people that live that way probably have a lot of anxiety. Probably have a lot of anxiety. So, today I listened to myself. I said, I'm coming home when my body and my brain were like, yeah, I need to go home. And tonight, and I would suggest this for tomorrow, but I'll be doing another vlog or tomorrow. Maybe it'll be a short, but tomorrow will be a practice of saying to myself, I love you. Um, I'm the only one that can take action in my own life. I'm grateful. I'm valuable, worthy, and deserving. and fill in the blank of taking care of myself and appreciating the fact that I have a bed to sleep in, that I have electricity and Wi-Fi, that I have money in the bank just sitting there and it's wonderful. and that I have wonderful people in my life, and like having a gratitude, having appreciation for things, and waking up that way, which is process. It's like setting a thing on your phone and legitimately saying, think happy thoughts, and not just like random thoughts, but legitimately going through appreciation for the moment, and then starting a practice of what am I going to do for 15 minutes minimum that's only for me. And then you can add to that, like legitimately, when I work with clients, obviously it's a elongated process depending on what their goals are. But when you create space for yourself, whether it's time, whether it's attention, whether it's cooking for yourself, whether it's like making like 10 minutes to work out, whatever the thing is that you're giving permission to yourself to be and exist. And then the other things in life will obviously call for their attention. Like, I'm not talking if you have a baby or if you're an actual caretaker, like not abandoning ship, but you still should, as soon as, and I say should in the loosest term possible, because I hate the word in terms of when you're shoulding on yourself. But in general, like if you are taking care of other people, if you're a mom, if you're a friend, if you are a cat sitter, if you are taking care of your elderly parents, or this is your job, like therapists, counselors, coaches, whatever you do in life. You could be the cashier and you're still taking care of other people. Filling your cup first in the morning or whenever you wake up, if you're not a morning person, and sometimes you're so depleted is that it takes so long to fill that cup up. It doesn't take forever. Legitimately, in 2013, it took me 3 weeks to kind of shift my mind. And that's after a year and a half of therapy. And because I finally was doing the work without needing an external like therapist to work on other stuff that I was working on as well. But it was like the hard pressed things of doing something every day for me. Now, back then, I did the mind thing of like, I'm valuable, worthy of, deserving of exercising. Back then, it was a big thing. Like, I never exercised committedly for more than a certain period of time, and I had 90 days. This is a 30-day one, but you can elongate it however you want based on what you want to do. But like, I'm for the moment, this day, this hour, this day, this week, this month, this year, like I'm about smaller increments, and then you build up like compounded interest. The feeling that you will get if you start appreciating yourself and your life, it will momentously be like this wonderful avalanche down your life, and that it'll bring you so much more than you could possibly imagine, because you can't imagine it yet. But it will help you imagine wonderful things for your life. Like, I couldn't imagine 10 years ago that I would be in the position that I am, working with people that I care about, making money without working for someone else, having this clarity of mind of like appreciation for myself. And I don't know, of course, I always need a refresher, because I too forget, get lazy, whatever the word is. Like, just get distracted, really. And so this month, till it's the 21st of April, until I guess the 20th of May is 30 days when I did the calendar, if I'm not mistaken. I'm highly focused on appreciating myself, appreciating what I have, and doing more things that I need, whether it is exercising more, is it moving my body because I sit too much, or is it getting more nutrition in and not always relying on things that are not nutritious. I really like this. And I don't think you have to give up things in order to be taking care of yourself. But a true assessment of yourself is not to berate yourself for when things go awry, but also take responsibility and be the parent that, like, sometimes you need a hard parent, like a tough, like, no, we're doing this. And that year as well, like, I was doing so many things. I was doing a 90-day program with Jillian Michaels, which my brain fought me on, partially because I was not used to doing things for myself. And also it was hard. And I did not like hard things. And I was also running in a group in Princeton when I was over there at the time. And I was running, I guess, 2 to 3 miles, setting up for a 5K that we were doing. And it was like a training group. So you kind of had to be there on a couple days a week. And then you work out on your own, the interim. And I remember walk running, and it was the beginning of one of my runs. I don't remember how far into the training I was, and literally I twisted my ankle. And that moment, I decided to keep going. Now, I wouldn't suggest this if you are not, medically sound, but I knew for myself it was me not giving myself an out. Kind of like a David Goggins type scenario, just not as hardcore. I'm not hardcore like at all, by any stretch of the imagination. Would never go through 3 hell weeks, let alone one, of Navy SEAL training. But that process taught me that I can handle hard things, that I can handle things that are painful, uncomfortable, and I wasn't going to be broken by them. Because for a lot of times, my whole life, I was allowing myself to be broken by things that were painful, or whether they were physical or emotional, mental. Baby, where are you? You want to come up? All right. I think I've touched your ear. I hope this is helpful. This is vlog day 1. So today, like I said, I'm going to continue to honor myself and remind myself to set affirmations. Tonight's affirmation will be: I'm valuable, worthy, and deserving of. And then you get to fill in the blank for what you want to say. But for me, it will be taking time to rest my brain, focus on a few business things that I need to get done, and plan, which is not easy for me because, executive functions. But I can do it because I can do hard things, and so can you. And 30 days is nothing in the grand scheme of your life, although your brain will be like, that's so long. But might not be. It might be a blink of the eye till you feel like you are more capable, more loving, more lovable, more valuable, because you're putting into you. You're pouring into your cup first. And I hope you let me know in the comments how it goes, and if you're following. I hope you have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Don't forget to follow Jen Hart Be Awesome on all the social medias.